I can't believe it again, Andrew. This is going to be a really controversial topic. The topic that we discussed on the Andrew Shatkin show last week on YouTube is, again, regarding abortion, but we're going to get into gay marriage as well. Andrew, how are you?
I'm good, Neil. I'm very glad to have the opportunity to give a fairly honest and you might say a thought about opinion on these issues. First of all, I'm not exactly talking about gay marriage. Let me make clear that I have no prejudice against our homosexual or gay brothers and sisters. I have no issue with them. It's legal. And if they're allowed to do that, I have no issue with it, really. I don't dislike them. I have no reason to. But let me talk about abortion a little bit. I think what is the problem in our society with abortion, or unfettered abortion, or abortion on demand? They say it's a matter of women's rights. You see, what's going on is we live in a promiscuous society. I think that's a fair statement, where people are allowed, have a right, and there is no moral criticism of these activities of people having as much sex as they want with anybody they want. But this is the result. The result of this so-called freedom is that children are conceived, and outside of the bonds of marriage, which is I believe in marriage, but that's not the way it is today. But I mean, the issue then is this promiscuity, and I think it's true, gives rise to this problem. Well, people may think, well, I have the right to reproductive freedom. They may say that, or they may say, I want to do what I want. But when you do what you want, this kind of reproductive freedom, this is what happens. And it's basically the cause of these pregnancies and the desire for abortion is doing what you want sexually. And that's the result. If people acted responsibly, they wouldn't have to have abortions, would they, Neil?
No, not at all.
Is that right? No, they wouldn't. So the issue of abortion to me is that we have to think that every person has a beginning and an end. And I take the same position in terms of euthanasia. I set a value on people, as I said last week, and that value is very important to me. And the value is devalued in the name of some kind of absolute freedom. Let me tell you something, Neil. Absolute freedom is a waste. Nobody has absolute freedom. We have to live within rules. We have to live responsibly. And when we have absolute freedom, which is what is suggested here, there's this chaos. People want to get rid of children. Their freedom that they exercise resulted in this problem. And that's my view. I think the issue is, the absolute essential issue is that everybody has a value. From the littlest kid, I say this, there are people who will say that kid had Down syndrome, they want an abortion with Down syndrome or mentally challenged kid. But you and I know those people, if you have had any contact with them, are wonderful people. And they are not to be devalued because they have this problem. So that's the issue in abortion. And I think it's basically, I think we have to look at it baldly and act in its actuality. It is taking someone's life. And the reason that life is taken is because that person thought that they could live without rules, with absolute freedom to do exactly what they want at any time with anybody. And this is the result. When we have absolute freedom in our society, these problems occur. Do we have the freedom to riot and tear down statues? What do you think?
No.
No.
We have the freedom to do it, but we do it.
That's right. I mean, but the people who do it will claim they have the freedom in our system to express themselves in that respect.
Right.
But it's wrong. Obviously, tearing down something is wrong.
Right.
It's wrong. But on the other hand, this is the issue in abortion. as you know, I've talked about this. Moral relativism is the issue in our society today, where there is no set moral rules. People take the position, which is why these abortions occur. They take the position that there's no moral limits on what they want to do. There's no rules. They say, if I think this, or you have an opinion on something, or I have an opinion, and that's how things work. That is the form of morality that our society is presently embraced. Is that right, Neil?
Right. Exactly. So,
Isn't it?
yeah. It's
Isn't
so
that the form of morality our society has embraced?
yeah, they've embraced that because there's no wrong or right.
There's no
They're
wrong
just
or right, exactly. And
there's
so you can just about do anything you want, I
exactly.
guess.
And now what we're
Okay, now
seeing now is definitely that part. So let's
that
take
is
you. Yeah.
okay. Let's
So
let's talk about gay marriage a bit.
yeah.
Now, as I said to you, Neil, I'm not a person who has hostility to any group or nationality or sex or sexual orientation. But gay marriage is a very tricky issue because it's not that I'm against gay marriage. The Supreme Court has decided that it was legal, and I'm not about to argue with that position. On the other hand, I disagree with it personally, you know, but that's it. It's the law. However, it is a state right. It is it is a license we get from the state, correct?
Right. Exactly.
And if we want to undo it, we got to go to court and have a divorce, right?
Yes.
And that is, and marriage, with all due respect, I wrote about it in this book, Gay Marriage, Essays in Faith, Politics, Politics, and Philosophy. And I said that I'm not convinced that marriage is a constitutional right. With all due respect, I'm not aware that the Constitution really has much to say about marriage. Marriage is a state concern, just like education is a state concern. These are matters reserved to the states, correct?
Right. Exactly. Yes.
Isn't that right?
Yes. Definitely. It's reserved to the state. So
Are you there, Neil?
you're. Yeah. I'm here. Do you agree, Andrew?
I'm saying these are matters legally reserved to the state. And there is not a the Constitution, in my opinion, doesn't have much to do with this, really. Uh, not at all. As I say, let me give you an example here of what I mean. I'm not touching on the religious issue. There are certain religious groups,
Right.
Islam, Roman Catholic Church, Orthodox Jews, and conservative Protestant denominations that are against gay marriage. That's
Right.
within those church bodies.
Mhm.
But I'm not touching on the religious issue and whether same-sex marriage should be illegal. But I do say that marriage has been a heterosexual activity meant to establish homes and families and bring children in the world and protect them and hand down property. But the issue on the gay marriage decision, I think its reasoning was faulty. I do not think that marriage is a constitutional right.
Right.
And let me tell you, I read an essay in the Wall Street Journal a long time ago on the issue of abortion and gay marriage, and the writer said the following, Neil. He said, we have to proceed through the courts on these issues because within the legislature, we can't get it passed. That is, I believe, with all due respect to the Supreme Court, I'm not at that level. I'm at the ground level here as a regular person. But the fact of the matter is, there is no basis to believe that marriage has anything to do with the Constitution. It really doesn't. And also, it is not a right. Even if we talk about gay marriage is based on some sort of equality argument and a constitutional right to equal treatment, due process,
Right.
equal protection. But those matters are not connected, I don't think, with marriage. As I said to you, it's quite clear to me, And I think it's an honest assessment that marriage is a state concern to establish families, to hand down property, to have a loving environment, to have a family. That is marriage. It's a state license. See, that's the issue. It's a license, Neil, given
Mm.
and handed to people by the state who want to enter into that relationship. And if you want to get rid of that license, you can do it. But there is nothing, the constitution of this, it has nothing to do. They're saying really that due process and equal protection, which have to do with race discrimination and maybe sex discrimination. Yes, those elements of the Constitution do have to do with race and equal protection and due process. Yes, that's why they were enacted after the Civil War, Neil.
Right.
Those constitutional amendments were enacted after the Civil War to address the issue of Black discrimination and mistreatment. They have nothing to do, and they're the parts of the Constitution that are being called into play on this gay marriage issue. But really, they were not passed for that purpose, Neil. They were passed to address color discrimination,
Right.
and sex discrimination,
Right.
not marriage. And that is why I differ with gay marriage, the gay marriage decision. Not because I don't think gay people, I guess if they want to marry, I mean, Supreme Court says it's okay. I don't particularly agree with it as a Christian person, as a religious person, but I accept it because it's the law. And I respect the Supreme Court's ruling in that respect, but I believe, I have to say this, Neil, it's pushing the envelope to say it's a constitutional right. Yeah, really, I don't believe that the Constitution can be stretched as it was stretched to cover this issue. That's my view. What do you think?
So, I mean, as I'm not going to give an opinion, I'm going to listen and understand what you're saying. Your biggest argument is it's not a constitutional right to have gay marriage.
No, it's not. Marriage, look, give me a break, Neil. Nobody has ever concluded that marriage has to do with the Constitution. I mean, that's pushing the envelope. Constitution is those sections of the Constitution that they used to justify that decision were passed after the Civil War, and they were meant to deal with race discrimination. They were.
So, as a lawyer, Andrew, give us the final point why gay marriage should not be legal.
Of marriage. Also, let me tell you something else. Let me tell you something else, Neil. They justify this reasoning on marriage equality. Equality is a big issue, is a big ticket item in the United States, Neil. Everybody talks about equality. Everybody wants to believe everybody's equal. I don't think they are. Everybody is equal, particularly they're correct. That is a matter of equality in the marriage bond. That is, again, pushing the envelope. It's pushing that homosexual marriage should be equated equally with heterosexual marriage. Equality, again, they use the word equality as a constitutional, as moving into a constitutional argument, saying that just like in those due process and equal protection sections of the Constitution, they were passed and addressed to provide protection at equal treatment for our dear Black brothers and sisters at that time. They had been treated very badly in slavery, and these amendments were passed to address the concern that was occurring perhaps in the South, where they were not being treated fairly.
All right. Well, people can go to shackenshow.com and purchase your books, learn about you and all the different things, or check you out on YouTube as Andrew Shackin, right?
Yep, you can do that. And ladies and gentlemen, I hope I have provided a convincing, reasonable statement as to why I think the marriage equality decision was wrong. The bottom line is, I don't think the Constitution can be pushed into this area of law. I don't think so.
All right. Very controversial topic, Andrew. Thanks for stopping by, and another great show. So take care.
All right. And ladies and gentlemen, again, let me repeat to you and Neil and everybody here, I personally don't concern myself with people's sexual orientation or sex. I don't think it's important. But this was the decision they came up with. Uh, in terms of the reasoning and the basis for it, I disagree.
Okay.
And and this person in the Wall Street Journal said some years ago, we had to go to the courts because we couldn't get it pushed through the legislature.
All right,
That's
Andrew.
the same for the Roe v. Wade. It's the same for abortion. He
All right.
made an honest statement. This
Okay.
was apparently a fairly left-wing liberal writing this thing, and he said we couldn't get through the people, so we had to go through the courts.
Well, thanks again, Andrew.
It's okay.
All right. See you later. Okay.
Right. Next week, I'd like to talk about a very unpopular topic in our present society. As a Christian, I believe it's true, and I'm not about to change my opinion. That is the issue of sin and evil. I believe evil exists. It's there. It's real. Many people do not want to talk about it and reject that idea. I want to talk about it.
Thanks, Andrew. Take care.
Bye-bye.